Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello, how are you? How has your week been? It is that time of year where I reflect on all the books that I have read so far this year and kind of give you just like a brief summary on which ones were my favorite, which ones were not so hot, nothing to write home about, all that stuff. I took these questions from Sarah Crowley's mid-year book tag, and I will leave all of the questions down in the description of this video. So far this year, I have read 53 books, which is not bad considering my goal is 100 books read this year, and Goodreads currently says that I am one book ahead of schedule. So that's awesome. Despite the fact that I made my goal 100 books this year, that's still less than like what my goal would be, because I have had several months this year where I have read hardly any books. Like I read 2 books in the month of June, which is why you're not getting a June wrap up, because that's useless. But then like you have the month of May where I literally read like 17 books. So I mean, I guess in the end it all balances itself out. I wish I was a little bit more consistent in like how many books I read in a month, but what can you do, you know? So let's get started with these questions. The best book that you've read so far in 2025. I did come up with 2 books for this question, but like comparing these books to all of the other books that I've read so far this year, it was a no-brainer that the best books that I've read so far in 2025 are definitely An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir and Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I just read this one more recently. You can see it in my A Book a Day vlog. I said in there that if I had a museum and I had to pick a book to put in the museum that was like the best first book in a fantasy series, like I'd put this book there. And this book, like, are you kidding? I don't know if you saw my Hunger Games reread video where I read this book. I was literally crying in a hotel lobby. I know that this book actually got some mixed reviews. Like some people did not like the vibe of this book. Some people get it, some people don't. The best sequel you've read so far this year. Now, one of my reading goals was to finish more series this year. I have really not done a good job doing that. So I haven't even really read that many sequels this year, and most of the ones that I did are like nothing to write home about, nothing that special. So I would say by a unanimous vote, the best sequel that I've read so far this year definitely has to be the Shatter Me series, like the sequels to the first book. Starting with Destroy Me, which is book 1.5. I read Shatter Me in a 24-hour readathon I posted back in March, and I was so confused when reading this book. I know that this book is beloved, and it has one of Book Talk's like favorite book boyfriends, but I'm reading it and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand what's happening. I don't really get the hype. I just don't get it. Then I read Destroy Me and I was like, I get it now. Okay, take it all back. I'm sorry. I get it now. Definitely has to be the best sequel I've read so far this year. New release you haven't read but want to. There are so many. I do not do a good job at keeping up with new releases. Just to name a few: Bag, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams, Gifted and Talented by Olive E. Blake, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, The Love Haters by Catherine Center, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. Your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson comes out on the 22nd of this month, and it would not be an understatement to say that I am over the moon excited for that book, and I may or may not already have an e-arc of that book. I'm so excited. And in August, we have Accomplice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer, which is the 3rd book in the Assistant to the Villain series, and I'm so excited for that book. I love those books. They are no brain power, so fun, so silly goofy, and I always find myself dying laughing at those books, so I'm definitely excited to read the 3rd one. The biggest surprise of the year. I would definitely have to say all of the Ashley Poston books that I've read so far this year. I had a video idea that I wanted to read Ashley Poston books for a week, yet I had such low expectations for these books. I just had this idea in my mind that I was not really gonna like any of them. Really? I don't know why. I guess maybe it's like the aspect of magical realism in the books that for some reason I just was convinced I wouldn't enjoy. I rated all of them at least a 3 stars, which is pretty good. And then this one, a 5-star. Not really sure why I convinced myself I wasn't gonna like them, because I did. Favorite author, debut, or new to you? I think I've got 2 again. First up, we'll go with Annabelle Monaghan. These books were originally my mother's. I definitely stole them and they belong to me now. I'm not giving them back. My mom was the first person I seen like read these and like talk about these books, and she tends to like really like hokey Hallmark Channel books, which is not a bad thing, but I just wasn't super excited about them when she was talking about them. Then all of a sudden I see everybody and their mother talking about Annabelle Monaghan, and I'm like, I have those books on my shelf. And I finally got around to reading them this year, and hello? Oh my gosh, where were you? You were right on my shelf and I just didn't pay attention. I don't know if you can tell, but all of these like dog ears, like that's a lot for me to dog ear in a book. And Nora Goes Off Script, this was a 5-star for me. And those are a lot of dog ears. And then Tahira Mafi. I speak about her because of the Shatter Me series. You know, once I got past the first book, I like absolutely loved the series. I will always say, you can tell an author is amazing when they write a novella and get you to care so much about those characters in such a short amount of time. I am just very excited to continue reading the series. I have one on my Libby right now. Why am I not currently reading it, like right at this moment? Newest fictional crush. I'd say one that sticks out to me is Sebastian from One Last Play by Anna Conwell. Sebastian is a single father, and I don't think I'd ever read a single father before this book. Yes, he's a single father, but also pursues his woman with everything he has in him. He's just the best of all the worlds, right? And then also I can't go without saying like all of the men from the Appy series. I love a good man who is head over heels for his woman. Book that made you cry, without a doubt, Sunrise on the Reaping. I think it's like the only book that's made me cry so far this year, which is surprising. A book that made you happy, The 7-Year Slip. It was so surprising, and that made it so much more fun to read this book. And the chemistry between the two main characters is loved it, and it was so unexpected for me. The most beautiful book you've bought or received so far this year. Now honestly, this question was kind of difficult for me. Well, I'll go ahead and say Spark Up the Everflame by Penn Cole. It's got stenciled edges, so I simply could not leave it at the Barnes when I saw it there. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but this cover is kind of like a tiny bit iridescent, which is cute. But besides that book, I will say there is one book that I'm so glad that I bought purely based off of its appearance. And that is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I got it in my first ever Book of the Month box. Because look at those stenciled edges. I am such a sucker for stenciled edges. And the fact that I got this book for $5, I'm hooked. I'm hooked in, right? But I'm so glad that I bought this book before everyone started saying that this book was trash. It's still up in the air as to whether or not I will ever read this book, but at least it looks pretty, right? What books do you need to read by the end of this year? Now, at the beginning of this year, I made a list of 25 books that I want to read in 2025. I have read quite a few of those books, but there are still several on the list that I have not read yet, including Renegades by Marissa Meyer, Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter, Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams, A Court of Frost and Starlight, and A Court of Silver Flames. If you are my real life friends watching this, who have been begging me to read these books for basically a year, I'm sorry. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, Article 5 by Kristen Simmons, The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi, A Slice of Heaven by Cheryl Woods, Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, Yours Truly by Olivia Blake, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. How many 5-star reads have you had so far this year? Now this number, I'm not gonna lie, is a bit surprising to me. Last year, I read like 112 books, and I swear like 56 of them I gave like a 5-star. Maybe not that many, but I gave a significant amount of the books I read last year 5 stars. I love to give out 5 stars like they're candy, and so far this year I've only had 9 5-star reads. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins, Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, and The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. So out of those books, out of those 9 5-star reads I've had so far this year, only 3 of them were new reads. The other 6 were rereads. What are some books that you want to reread this year? I have a couple in mind and I have some video ideas that I want to do with them. So I'm going to tell you them and you can guess in the comments what videos you think that I might want to be doing with these. The Selection series by Kira Cass, Heist Society by Ali Carter, The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. A book you enjoyed with mixed reviews. As I was scrolling through the books that I've read so far this year on Goodreads, I didn't really see any that I like super duper loved that had like a low star rating on the app. But I guess like making this video, I decided that I guess Sunrise on the Reaping kind of has some mixed reviews. Some people thinking it's kind of like a cash grab and like doesn't exactly have a lot of substance to it. And I'm like, did we read the same book? Because this book is full of substance. Like, are you kidding me? One of my 3 new 5-star reads so far this year. 5-star predictions for the end of the year. So far I have 2, Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson and A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. At this rate, I'll only have like 3 new 5-star reads by the end of this year, so. Those are all of the questions for this year's mid-year book tag. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. Comment down below your favorite book that you've read so far this year and a book that you predict will be a 5 stars by the end of the year. And subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week and I will see you guys next time. Bye.